Did you notice the difference last week with the white canvas? It was coming through, wasn't it? When you put the paint on, it all came through. And you can see now why I tone it. Because then if it comes through, it just gives a bit of a glow. It doesn't, it's not like in your face, like white, you know? So that's why I tone it, okay? But I thought it'd be good for you to have one go and just see for yourself, really, why I tone it like this. And when I toned these, all I did, I got some like raw sienna, burnt sienna, sorry. I put it in a lid of a tub, and then an old rag in water, in that, and I just rubbed it all over. Okay, that's all. Just rag, very diluted.
After the gesso first, is it?
After the gesso first, yeah. Gesso first, let it dry, and then that. Now you're going to have more colours today, alright? You're going to have cadmium yellow, which you don't normally have, and you're going to have cadmium red, the two bright colours. Win from here. So, but don't go berserk, because they're very strong colours, right? So you only want a little bit. You'll see when we do it now. And I always put the paint same way every time, white to yellows, to reds, browns to blue. So I know where I am, where to go. I tend to keep two brushes, one for the light colours, and then it's that much easier. And that's all that is raw sienna with a bit of white. And is it filming now, Dave, is it? Yeah. Oh, right, okay, right, fair enough. Right, so I'm going to do a very simple sky here, because there's not a lot of it. But I need to tighten up, this board. That's better. Okay, so very sort of simple sky. I've just put white, and I'm just going to blend it in basically. And as I was saying, I tend to work a darker blue on the top. And if I was doing this in the house, I would do this twice probably. I would do it like I am now. And then also I would do it so I'd get more paint on it. And but for for a demo like this is fine. You can't see.
No, the camera's not picking up what you're mixing.
Oh, I see. Right. Okay. Thanks. Is that okay?
Yeah.
There we go. Anything. Don't be backward. Just say, because I'm just not aware. I'm just carrying on here. But let me know if I can do something that makes it easier for you all, and that'll be brilliant. Now, I've done that. Now I'm going to go in a little bit darker again up here now. Get a bit darker painting. This is coming off here. Let's tighten that up a little bit, and we'll get that in there. I think that'll hold it in place. Bit of blue tack, marvellous. So I want to be fairly quick with this, because and you'll see why. I get this light brush now, and that will brush it all in soft, okay? And that's all I want to be doing for the sky. Okay? So not complicated, very, very easy. And now I'm going to come down to the sea, and I'm going to put a little bit of yellow with that blue to make it like a blue-green. Now if it's a bit darker, no worry, add a bit of white to it, and it'll go that bit lighter, okay, which I think it needs. So let's take it a bit lighter again. But you see how big an area you can cover if you don't mess around with it. And those strokes. So there's the sea. And now I better go back onto this other brush, get some more white. So I'm going to do the sand dune. So again, it's only white with a little bit of sienna in. Here we go. So I'm putting plenty of paint on, if you notice. And if you notice, I'm going with the contour of the terrain, you know, to get that movement. Right. Put that there. Now, fun part now is old Harry, isn't it? So I'm going to mix, first of all, like a blue. So I'm not going to the white first off. I'm going to what are like the mid colours. So here we go. Where? And then I'll go a little bit darker again, which means it's a bit more red with the blue. And watch this now. And I'm going to go to the white, but I don't want to go to a very garish white, so I've toned it down a bit.
What did you tone it down with?
I've put a bit of sienna with it, so it's like a cream, it's like a creamy white. So it's all hit and miss. I'm not thinking of detail at this point. So while that's going off, I'll come back to the sand dunes. Let's get that in there. Let's get the grass on the top, I think. You might see it better now once this goes on. See the shape of it. So it's not getting bogged down in areas, it's keeping it quite fluid. Now then. Now when you're doing grasses, always lift it up and then take it off. Get a flat area first, and that's all there is to it really. So I'm going to concentrate on this side first. And once this goes on, you can begin to see the shape then. So it's a bit like what we did last week when we were doing a sand dune, only a little bit more in it this time. But it's great when you do these big areas, and you can always come back in then to get the different colours and detail and I don't know if you can all see that. Can you see what I'm about? And what I might do now is get some darks in here. Can use a fan brush, love, but when I'm really motoring and going fast, you know, you haven't got the time for a fan brush. You can always go over it at the last with a fan brush, you know. So all I'm doing is get the variation in here now with browns, and then the lights are at the very last. You can go into light greens, and that's when it really comes to life. So I'm working on what would be darker areas. There we are. And you've always got to walk away and see what it's like from the other side of the room, because that's how a painting is seen. Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to leave that for now and let that go off a little bit. And then I'm going to come back onto the cast shadow. This is cadmium red with a little bit of blue, and it's a nice colour, isn't it? It's so you've got all different blues going on here, really. So you're thinking of the light coming from here, so this would cast shadow more that way. Yeah, we're more or less getting there now. Now let's get a thinner brush. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to use that with the cadmium red, a little bit of the brown. Let's see what this is like now. Now this is just the detail part that brings it to life. But again, you don't want too much of this then. It's got to be just here and there. Okay? Let's have a look here. See, from a distance, you wouldn't get all the little detail. You would just get rough shapes, really, of dark, mid-tone, light. So it's a bit of nonsense, really. I'm just varying it a bit, that's all. So from a distance, it looks, you've got a lot going on, really. Let's see. Okay. Now, what I might do now while I'm waiting there is come back to that, and let's get a nice lighter green in. So I'm putting white. So I'm mixing on top the colours that are there. Don't worry about that. That's okay. So I'm going over that second time, and it's coming over a bit more solid now. And if I make a little bit of a dark to go in there. So you want this a bit varied. If the light is coming from there, parts of you will be darker. Okay? Now then, I don't know whether to get the gesso paste actually, which will be a stronger white.
Mix with anything, or is it just plain gesso?
Plain white, you could mix it with all sort of colours if you want, it doesn't matter.
Oh,
It's more or less a more concentrated paint to what you've got on with the acrylic, really. But you watch now with this now. What I should do, I suppose, first, mix it on now. So I'm mixing it with the acrylic now to give it a bit more consistency. Well, let's try this. I've used more water now to thin it out. It's not exactly level, I got the camera here, so you've got an idea from where you are. There we go. So now let's get this white in then. So that's popping out now. Yeah. It just really, what you'll find is with the acrylic, the tubes can vary so much, can't they? They can be very watery, depending what you pay or the make. And don't be afraid to use your fingers and merge in. Let's come back to here now. How is that jutting out there? So yeah, starting to buzz now, isn't it? So I'm going to mix a nice blue to come in here now. So what it is, I've got a lot of variation going on in here now, darks, light blues. Okay. Let's try this again. Now what you could do, I could have this reflecting down in here. Okay? Just here and there. Always bring it down when you're talking of reflections. And if I was to put a little bit of blue in there as well, then be a bit more convincing again. But you don't want it exact, you want it okay? And then what you can do is get white and go over that reflection, but only a little bit, only here and there. You see that? Okay? But you can see the difference, the depth there to here. But now I'm going to use this rigger brush to get a bit of... I'm using the rigger brush now on its side, okay? And then lifting up, just like a fan brush. Well, let's get some variation in here. Okay? So, although it's a little brush, the rigger, it can do a lot of work, you know, cover a lot of area depending how you use it. But using on its side like this and lifting up, if you were to come close later, you will see the different colours of greens that I've got in this foreground. It's not all like one colour. I've got the dark underneath, which I want, but now I can build lighter colours on top of that. Okay. Now I'm going to go for a real light colour now. And let's try this. Yep, that's great. You can see how that is registering against the dark. Put a bit of water with it. But yeah, you could use the fan brush at this point, get a lighter colour, and only do it here and there. Just there. No, we're nearly there, really. We don't want to do much more than this. For a painting that's a demo like this, where you're going very fast. And what I will do, I think, is let's get a colour. See, now this is dried off. I can get a lighter colour in again now. And then I can come back onto the shadow and blend that in a bit. And we're virtually done now. Don't want to do much more than this at this stage. I think you should leave it like that. Okay. Obviously, if I was to have a coffee, come back to it, what I would do is get darker colours again in here, and which I could do with the rigger now. When you take a couple of minutes actually to do it. So I'm getting darker colours in here again, and then I would mix some blues and get blues in here too, you see.